Welcome back, fight fans, to another exciting episode of Uncivil Discourse. This week, we head into the back half of the season, and the standings are starting to flush out. We only have 3 more weeks of skill buys, and then everyone gets to play with the lance they wanted from the beginning for 2 weeks before playoffs.
Here we go. Another week of great predictions and fun for all. And just a special reminder to our players, and that's where dice are concerned. Now, just understand that other than what is listed in the packet, another set of things that can be done with dice is either or both players have the right to request that the opposing player and themselves start using the same dice, or if one of the players is not comfortable sharing their dice, that the league has a neutral set of dice that they can use. Or if somebody forgets they have their dice that week, we have some that we can lend out. This will stop any possible concerns about their dice, your dice, and everything else in between, and just keep a fun, fair, and competitive week of play going.
Yeah, but Lee, I don't want your dirty hands touching my dice.
We're going to have hand sanitizer on site as well.
Do they have enough hand sanitizer for you?
Yes, we do. I have lots if anyone needs it.
I don't want to know why, I just really don't.
All right, so enough about that. We've talked enough about sanitization. Let's talk about some skill spends. We have another fairly good week for skills with only 2 teams banking this week, the Blood of Bashir and the Flying Tigers. You guys need to get on your skill spends a little bit quicker. Condos Janissaries. Cerberus picks up Clan Salvage ERPPC. The Doombuds Crusader picks up Personal Vendetta. Mass Destruction. The Wraith reassignments into a region and then uses Underworld contacts to add a Beagle active probe to that region. The Donru Tiger Slayers. Orion uses the engineering skill. It's going to have 2 MRM40s now, folks. The Blitzkrieg Jezebels Zeus picks up Lethargic. Odin's Storm Riders. The Archer picks up Missile Specialist. And the Wolverine picks up Faction Tech for some X-Pulses. Kel's Keshiks, the Wraith, uses Technician to drop the large pulse laser for 2 ER meads. Lords of the Underworld, the Black Knight, picks up Veteran so that it can choose a 3rd secondary skill, Lethargic. Red Sun's Irregulars, the Thunderbolt picks up Anticipation. The Rifleman uses Underworld Contact for Case 2. And Tin Man's Tin Cans, Longbow, picks up Camouflage. Meanwhile, Thumpers Revenge, Phoenix Hawk, picks up Exploit. The Bside Brawlers, Nightstar, Clan salvages its ERPPC and gets case on one of the 2 Gauss rifles. Guess which one's not going to get exploded? Vandals Valkyries, the Annihilator, picks up Steady Hand to make those 4 LB10s just a little bit more deadly. War Club, the Devastator, picks up Gunnery. Parkers Pathfinders, Wolverine, picks up Mobile Fire. Abishais Avengers, the Warhammer picks up Anticipation. The Flying Tigers, as mentioned, banked. Petulant Perry's Periphery Pirates. Marauder Pilot decides Underworld Contacts is good and picks up some Case 2. Riston's Rogues, the Grasshopper, picks up Target Lock, one of my favorite skills. Fallen Angels, Jagermech, picks up Steady Hand. The Blood of Bashir, also banked. And lastly, the second St. Ives Janissaries, Black Knight, gets engineered, so it is no longer just the 30-25 tech. It now has some double heat sinks and some ERPPCs.
Some nice skill spends on quite a few there. Underworld Context gets used 3 times. People buy in Case for that really cheap 1 point. Lee getting that Beagle active probe, that's also nice and cheap. And helps you out with that C3I. Still seems people are tweaking the odd thing with, getting new mechs, faction tech, engineering, clan salvage, all the good stuff. Be interesting to see if people pick up engineering or faction tech or any of that stuff come the next couple of weeks.
I think that's probably going to start paring down now as people have got their mechs the way they want them to be. I think they're going to start looking at making those mechs better with better gunneries, or maybe even some mobility or physical combat skills. I know Aaron took an elite expert or something like that, where he was able to modify his dice by 1 to try to more likely to hit in the head with his
Called
archer.
shot, I believe that was.
The called shot, thank you. And unfortunately, never got a chance to use it because he got knocked down the one time he was within physical attack range. But it's still a good idea. I think people might be overlooking the physical attack skills. But hey, everybody's got their preferences and the things that they like to use.
Okay, Blue Jay, let's take a look at the match summary from our previous week. Game number 1, Condos Janissaries versus the Flying Tigers. They had a late game. The Tigers came out flying all over the Wooded Hills arena with some spectacular piloting checks and took the head off the Cerberus with that shiny new Gauss rifle on the Thunderbolt. Alas, it was not enough to stave off the Janissaries' victory today. 2-1 as both the Imp and the Victor fall and fail to get up.
Paul got a kill. Paul got a kill. And actually, you missed an important part. He successfully completed a DFA, Brett. Like, that should have been the number one thing on your write-up there. I know that's just amazing. Paul, way to go. And hey, that Gauss rifle that you begged and pleaded for paid off the next week as soon as you purchased it. Way to go, man. JP, as usual, great game. I heard so many positive things about this game as I was getting some reports throughout the day. And once again, Paul shows off some really interesting tactics and had a great time. It's good to hear.
Yeah, a 4-hex DFA. Maybe not the most wise maneuver, but he landed it, kicked the archer off of a level 2 hill onto a level 1 hill. Now, JP made the piloting check, but, couldn't pretty much ask for a better setup than that.
I'm still not sold on DFAs, man. Congrats, Paul, on getting it off, but, no, it's the fact that you need almost a minimum of an 8 to do the DFA to start with, and then need a 9 to stay standing after that fact. No thanks.
Yeah, Paul's Phoenix Hawk landed 14 points to the punch location table, so a 5, and a 4, and it ended up taking 5 points to the leg, and then it failed the stand-up check afterwards and took another 5 to the same leg.
Yeah.
Ouch.
And fell down.
That's not so good.
From what I understand, that T-bolt though was pretty beat to hell. Also, something about two gyro hits and unconscious, and
yeah, it took it like a redheaded stepchild all day long, and only was near the end kind of falling down.
Yeah, and even though it took 2 gyros and engine, it's still not considered destroyed because that's playoff rules. It can still prop and fire, so it's still a valid mech.
Can't get up, but can still shoot you, therefore still good to go.
Yep. Need to lose an arm.
Game number 2, Petulant Perry's Periphery Pirates versus Abishais Avengers in this anticipated father-son duel. We almost didn't have anything to say as the mech sheets wandered out the door and the match wasn't officially reported to either admin. Luckily for Max, unluckily for Galen, this game almost had to be replayed. Almost. As Geoff was able to get an official score for the game, fought in the arena, rode in the hills. It ended in a 4-1 Abishais victory.
Yeah, and this is also the communication things that we talked about before. You have to make sure you communicate with the admins all the details of your match. Doesn't have to be when it happens, but you do have to make sure you tell us before you leave the building and stick around and visit a little bit. It's always good to chew the fat about how the game went. I think I actually called this game in Max's favor in the predictions, mainly because he is just on a roll lately. It's too bad. I really thought Galen was going to take it to his son and show him that old age and treachery beats youth and exuberance. But it sounds like the game was really well played and tactically really sound. So, way to go, Max, staying on the win side, and Galen, he'll take it to them in the next round.
I was sitting beside them, and I well, not beside them, I think close to them. And from what I understood, though, Galen was frustrating Max quite a bit on some of his stuff. So he didn't. He put up a valiant defense, from what I hear, but it didn't turn out in the end.
That would be a father's prerogative to frustrate the crap out of the kid. All right, game number 3, Riston's Rogues versus Parkers Pathfinders. The River Valley Arena had these two stables clash today. Geoff, it was your match. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
It was a good match overall. Yeah. 4-1 for me. So I lost my Night Sky when it decided it wanted to. I did silly things with it and stood it beside the Night Star, who then turned and fired everything. Well, I didn't stand it. I jumped in beside the Night Star, and ate every single weapon the Night Star owns, and then proceeded to all hit the one leg, which then took the leg off, and I fell down.
2 Gauss rifles, ER, PPC, and 2 medium pulse. Yeah, that ain't nice.
No. That definitely means that you're laying there just waiting for him to finish you off.
The thing is then ate every single weapon the Night Star had again and survived.
Ooh.
Those 50-tonners can be reliably resilient.
Yes, it can. As proved by the point from, Parker's Pathfinder's Wolverine, which took quite a bit to kill. Same with his Grasshopper took quite a bit of killing. That having the exact same Grasshopper myself, I know that it's that standard engine with almost nothing in the torsos to worry about. It takes quite a bit to kill.
Yeah, and you've never been one to do things in a hurry either. You seem to like to work your way through the mechs, not just take off things like heads, hips, and stuff like that.
I would just like to say that my hits were actually average for this game, which has been quite the change so far this season.
And the crowd goes wild.
We'll see if my averageness continues into my game with Andrew this next week. So
poor Andrew.
Yeah,
number.
Whoa! I get to talk. I didn't get to do my little rant on this.
Well, then interject sooner.
He literally just finished talking. So, on this match, Chris Crooks has a great lance, like really tough. When I played him, he had a really solid lance. But Geoff, you're a bit of a machine. Like, you're hard to take down. You're hard to beat. 4-1, I think, is the first time this season you've gotten a 4-1, but or a 4-kill. But all in all, you generally pull.
He 4-0'd me.
Yeah, you don't count. You were an anomaly. But, it's like me versus Calvin. You're just a speed bump at that point in those matches. But yeah, no, it was a good game. Like from what I heard, you and Chris had a good time. It just didn't work out in Chris's favor. And Chris is going to bounce back and probably win a couple of games here soon. I'm looking forward to hearing how his mechs do.
Yeah, no, Chris played pretty well for the most part. The only thing he did wrong was he left his Night Star too far back to shoot at 2 of my mechs for a few turns until he started to move it forward a little bit. But so I was saved from the fire from that thing for a little bit, unless he was shooting at the Night Sky or the Grasshopper at higher odds. So.
Game number 4, the Fallen Angels versus the War Club, matching off against each other in the Red Peaks Arena. I know the final score of this one, but the match was fought on the other side of the den, so I didn't hear too much about how it played out, except that it was over in a 4-0 War Club victory in 7 turns.
I'll just say what I said before. Calvin is just a machine. Like I said that about you, Geoff, but he's literally just a destroying machine. I think he's killed all 4 mechs in all 5 of his matches. It's just sick. He just runs you over and then turns around, and if there's anything that's clamoring back to its feet after he's run you over the first time, he comes back for a second run and just knocks you down. The Red Earth Peaks definitely did not play in John's favor, as there wasn't even anything to slow Calvin down. And once he's on your toes, it's over. So, yeah, we called John not to win because, Calvin hasn't lost yet. But the score surprises me. I figured John would have a little bit more luck and maybe at least kill 1.
I believe Geoff actually called a 4-0 last week on this match.
Oh, yeah. I know we called against the Fallen Angels to win. I'm just really surprised that it was a 4-0.
Man, I keep hoping John is gonna do better. Like, his dice have just failed him so much this season.
All season, it's just been
he's been joining. Hey, listen, I've been doing the same thing dice-wise with him, as John, and luckily I have just been getting a little bit more lucky on things and pulling out the wins. So I still hope for John. He's gonna kill somebody 4-0 this season.
Yeah, he's gonna eventually get tired of this, and he's just gonna lambast somebody.
Yep.
Geoff, you can't call a 4 Sachowski maneuver for one guy and call it a 4-0 victory.
Well, stop blowing up your own mechs,
All right, game number 5. Second St. Ives Janissaries versus the Blood of Bashir. Oh, baby, no patented Sachowski maneuver today. Now, that doesn't mean the Atlas didn't try. It did fall down when it entered a hex containing rubble. It just didn't explode itself. So right there, win. Bonus. And because of that, the Atlas walked away with 3 more kills today. Andrew is a fantastic opponent, and I can't say enough about that. Smiles, he's happy, all day long, no matter how the game's going or what's happening. Thanks for the game, dude. Final score, 4-0, Second St. Ives Janissaries. Walking off the field, a road less traveled.
Well, of course it's all smiles. You whooped the boy. Like, that is just rude, dude. You could have at least given him the Atlas. You seem to give it out to everyone else.
I tried.
Yeah.
Brett, what did I tell you earlier about we want people to come back this season?
Don't beat up the new guys. I know. Take it easy on them.
See, I even lost to Andrew trying to make sure that he sticks around.
Sheesh. I don't know about
My
that,
apologies. That was actually a 4-1 now that I think about it. The Hunchback exploded when the longbow blew through the front of the torso, hit 2 of the 3 ammo bins with a 10 roll in the crit chart, and it cascaded to clip off the 3rd ammo bin, killing the pilot, leaving the mech able to walk off the field if another pilot jumped in it.
I gotta say, that is one thing about Case 2. We're seeing a lot of just melted pilots.
So what you're telling me is Brett Lively. Brett lied on his scores.
Yeah.
Cooking the books, as somebody might say.
I guess the rest of his games are forfeit up to this point. He'll just have to try to see what he can do with 5 games before he makes playoffs. See if he can make B.
Tisk. Can't even trust Brett.
What can you do when you can no longer trust an admin?
Man, it's almost like I got 22 teams to try and keep track of.
Yeah,
you put that on the rest of the league.
Yeah. Way to go, Andrew. You got one of them. And yeah, that Atlas is just a horror show. It's totally the anchor of your lance, even though you've got the Marauder 2 coming up behind it. Once the Atlas goes down, I think your game starts to kind of turn away out of your favor. So I don't like calling a call to arms, but everyone shoot the Atlas. Kill the Atlas early. It is the only chance you have.
Or just make it fall down and crit itself.
Well, you shoot it for 20 points of damage, it falls down on its own, but you've got to make sure you hammer that Atlas.
Okay, so match summary, hammer the Atlas. Moving on.
Yep.
Game number 6, the Doom Buds versus Vandals Valkyries. Another successful match plays out in the river basin. Glad to see this arena, as challenging as it is, being used rather than the default. Low scoring game, but that's not unusual for a bunch of rivers crisscrossing the whole map. 1-0 victory for the Doom Buds' 2nd victory in a row.
The only thing positive I can say out of this is I got a prediction right, because I refuse to call that Vandals Valkyries are going to win any more games. But I thought this map was going to be in Chris's favor. Close range, lots of trees to block line of sight. The C3I systems don't function as well in here because you have to have line of sight. That's unfortunate, but it looks like it was a really tough fought game. I heard a lot of weapons fire going off. Chris is having 0 luck with his autocannon 20s and his Annihilator. Oh well, Chris, keep at it, man. This season may not be the one for you, but who knows? You still got 5 more games. You can turn this around and make a good showing for Bside.
Oh man, from what I understand, Chris's dice just left the building, left the country for the most part when it came to any piloting roles involving his Night Star. From what he told me, he failed 3 attempts to careful stand by rolling 3s.
Yeah, and
Needing a 4.
Needing a 4. Yeah.
When your dice do that, it's just, what are you going to do, right? There's nothing you can do about it.
Throw them across the room? No, maybe throw them outside into traffic and just
drive over them a couple of times.
Yeah.
A patented moment where you might want to ask the admin, hey, can I use some of those loaner dice?
Yep.
I think at that point I would have used anybody's dice. Even John's, with how bad they are to him.
I think John's dice would have probably done better.
I mean, they are fresh this year.
Yep.
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe some of us that keep getting poor rolls need to swap dice, keep our poor rolls going, but with somebody else's dice.
Yeah, weren't you going to do that with JP this upcoming week?
I was going to do it with JP in our last match, but I was hitting average and I didn't want to break that. So,
I mean, maybe for a special event, we just have everybody turn your dice one player to the left, and here's a bottle of hand sanitizer.
Excuse me for bringing in the dice that roll nothing but snake eyes. I swear.
No. That's the next game that we're about to talk about.
Oh, that brings us up to your match, Lee. Game number 7, Mass Destruction versus Bside Brawlers. These two behemoths go head-to-head. That's too much head. Lee, tell us what happened when you entered a path less traveled.
Well, sigh. Guess I've got some crow to eat, because the Bside Brawlers did beat me 4-2, which is not the best tale of the tape, because at one point it was a 2-2 tie going into the last couple of rounds. So, second round of the battle, his Night Star shoots me with a Gauss rifle on 10s, well, 2 Gauss rifles on 10s to my Salamander, rolls and hits with both, rolls locations, and one of them hits me in the head. So I only got 2 rounds of fire, which was not at any mechs, it was my smoke and minefields that were going out. So my Salamander died without doing anything useful whatsoever, other than giving him cover. So, alright, game's definitely on the back pedal for me. I start going defensive and start trying to move around. I chase my Wraith out behind his Night Star, hoping that I can get into his back and start taking back shots and make him turn and start shooting at the Wraith instead of my other mechs down the field, which ended up having the added bonus of pulling his Archer and his Axeman with me, leaving his Night Sky to fight both my Archer and my Crab. Well, once his Night Sky got outside of the ECM coverage of his Axeman and Archer, I was able to really lay fire into him with my Archer, killing his Night Sky in about 2 rounds of concentrated fire. So,
And the crowd goes wild.
yes, yay, we got a kill. So, and that's about where the game started being a little bit more even. However, I rolled 11 snake eyes throughout our game. 11. Most of them for weapons fire. So I was not hitting at all. And Aaron was hitting on averages. He wasn't rolling really crazy. He wasn't just lambasting me across the field. It was a really average game. His Archer is probably the best mech in his Lance, with 4 streak 6s and moving 585. It has 0 heat issues, so it just jumps around firing. Doesn't matter if, as long as numbers are 12 or less, you got 4 streak 6s potentially firing at you. But other than that, it was a really good fight. I got his Axeman down. His Archer was decently hurt, but it was more than enough to wipe out my Archer and my damaged Wraith. And I lost. It was a great fight. Way to go, Aaron. Nice battle. And next time I see you on the field, I'll make sure I take it to you, because my Salamander's not going to die that easily next time.
One day I might hit something in the head with a ghost rifle. One day. But it sounds like, Lee, you had a really good game, which turned out in Aaron's favor, which, good for Aaron.
Yeah, I have no problem losing to Aaron, really. It's just the smack talk back and forth is so much fun.
At the end of the day, that's pretty much all we're looking for, right? Doesn't matter who wins. You're showing up to have a good game, have an enjoyable time, and spend some time socializing with your opponent.
Oh, I wanted to comment on this. We were talking about the cascading meltdowns. That's what happened to his Axeman. I got in behind him, hit his ammo bin on his autocannon 20, and then hit a second ammo bin He had already taken 1 pilot hit, so when he fell and took his 6th pilot hit, it killed the pilot. So it was a cascade of ammunition explosions that ended up taking him out.
Nice.
Glad to hear it doesn't just happen to me and the kid.
Yeah.
All right, that'll run us into game number 8. Donru Tiger Slayers versus Thumpers Revenge in the Barren Lands. We see a little hip-hop and a fair amount of fire back and forth. Lots of exciting times, but the most exciting was the last turn of the game, which saw the Donru Warhammer and the Thumpers Phoenix Hawk both eliminated in a nail-biting finale 2-1 for the Donru Tiger Slayers.
This was a fantastic game, which originally looked like a 2-0 win for the Don Ryu. However, with a quick look at some of their mech sheets, it turned out the Orion was technically destroyed, with unable to be able to stand and missing an arm. It couldn't prop and fire. So that ended up giving the Thumpers their 1 kill on that battle. The Don Tiger Slayers is a great lance. It's very hard to deal with the C3 system if you haven't come up against it a lot, which definitely, for the first, especially at the beginning of the battle, gives them quite a bit of an advantage. And Laura came in, did a great job of laying fire on them, but in the end, it just wasn't quite enough.
So that was me misspoking. It would be the Donru Orion and the Thumpers Phoenix Hawk that both got eliminated in the last turn, not the Warhammer. Okay. My bad.
Yep, no worries.
It's almost like somebody's feeding you this information right now.
Oh, I said it right. It was...
Yeah, Lee corrected it.
Yeah.
I know.
I've learned not to trust what he... I'm beginning to learn not to trust what Brett writes down wholeheartedly.
Well, listen, he already tried to lie on his game, right?
I know. Yeah. Now we don't know who's won the games. We might have to get a poll in just to see who won the games.
Clearly, I was a little distracted today while working on the script.
It sounds like the game was really good, and I do know it went down. One of the games that went right down to time almost. So, good job for Brandon and his Tiger Slayers, and I'm sure the Thumpers will get the next one.
They bounce back well.
All right, game number 9: Blitzkrieg Jezebels versus Tin Man's Tin Cans. Once again, the Mountain Lakes see a lower scoring game, proving just how challenging this arena can be for all teams, with a 1-0 Blitzkrieg Jezebels victory.
I would love to see any map other than the Pathless Travel, because I think I've second or third time I've played on that, so I really would like to try playing on the Mountain Lakes. I will
Show
say,
up sooner.
Hey, I'm usually one of the first guys there. The Blitzkrieg Jezebels, I called their win against the Tin Man's Tin Cans, and yeah, I'm going to just keep saying that, because I rarely pick the right wins from last season anyway. I was the lowest out of the 3 of us. Blitzkrieg Jezebel's good team, though I actually thought they were on the losing side early on. I heard that she was having my luck with PSRs and falling down all over the place. But she was able to right the ship and get back in there and get that 1 kill, which was enough of victory. It doesn't matter how many kills you get as long as you get the W. Because in the end, kills for and against are just tiebreakers.
I was really hoping Justin would pull off some kills, and from what I understand, he was close on a few mechs, but he just didn't get it in the end. Just remember, Justin, concentrate firepower.
Intensify forward firepower.
Yeah, sometimes, if you need to hit somebody on 9s instead of 7s, but you have the potential to do more damage in killing, take the 9s, if you're concentrating fire. It helps. But yeah, no, it's good on the Jezebels on getting this win. I know they've been struggling in a couple of games, but they've also been really strong in a few other games. So hopefully they continue to do just as well. And maybe they'll actually beat Mass Destruction. Wait, aren't they already beating Mass Destruction?
I was going to comment on that because Heather would have been very upset if I didn't mention this. She actually is ahead of me in the standings, but then again, more than half the league's ahead of me in the standings right now. So,
but that's not the point that matters, though.
I think she might even be in the top 10, guys. I think she's doing quite well.
I believe
that's
she
good
is,
to hear. Good for Heather. Game number 10: Odin Storm Riders versus the Red Suns Irregulars. This exciting match has been brought to you by Jammers. When your rack jams, nothing else will do. Also, they fought on the Foothills Arena to a near standstill as 8 mechs entered and 7 mechs leave. 1-0 Red Suns Irregulars victory. I think this makes 3 now in a row for them.
Yeah, they are just, to be honest, running rampant. They're not killing everybody that steps in front of them, but once again, that doesn't matter. A win's a win. Way to go, Gary. You know we're cheering for you. Odin Storm Riders, now that we have your name correct, hopefully for the rest of the season, keep at it. 1-0 loss is, well, it's still a loss, isn't that bad. It's showing that you're playing a really good defensive game. Just keep at it. Just keep hammering at it. Look at Chris Crooks. He's having a much better second season than he did his first. Sometimes it takes one season to just get enough experience under your belt to come in guns blazing the next season.
I know every time I looked over at that game, it was, holy crap, all 4 mechs are still alive. Holy crap, all 4 mechs are still alive. And as much as I tease Gary about every time he jams a rack, you know, it's always fun when people jam racks.
So in Jeff's defense, this week, out of the 5 racks that were on the tables, I believe 4 of them jammed, because I jammed both of mine. I believe Thumpers jammed hers early in the game, and then Gary jammed his. And I know I wasn't able to unjam with more than 3 attempts, and I think the others at least tried 1 attempt before they gave up.
Yeah, too much time has taken about trying to unjam them if you don't succeed the first time, because you got to get your other guns going. Otherwise, the mech's just a paperweight.
Yeah, unfortunately, Brett only has 2, and if you jam both of them, that's almost all the weapons on that Marauder.
Yeah, that's basically its guns. It's a large laser and 2 mediums if I don't have those racks.
Yeah, and Phoenix Hawks have more guns than that.
Yep. No, good job, Gary. And like they said, you know, Will, you'll get them next time. You were close on this one for even weeking out a tie. It would have been good to see.
Alrighty, that'll take us into game number 11. Kells Keshik versus Lords of the Underworld. Timmy didn't have a very good day. No heads taken, except there was a double shot to a Kells mech early in the match, putting the Lords up 1-0 early, like round 4 or something like that. Alas, it did not last, as those dastardly ne'er-do-wells from Kells Keshik take home a 4-1 victory, stomping off the plains of death, having dealt lots of death to the Lords of the Underworld.
You know, I'm starting to wonder if Kells Keshik's not a plant, because he has successfully been just stomping people. Way to go. And the biggest problem is he's running into these first season people and just lambasting them. It's almost worse than your Atlas. Hopefully everybody realizes that it's just dice and everybody's there to have fun. And don't worry, his dice luck will fade as he starts getting a little bit more comfortable with the game and starts trying things that aren't just run straight forward and shoot people.
Hey, listen, at least it's, you know, the newbie players to the league beating up on each other instead of the veterans beating up on the newbies, right?
That's true. Very true. No secret winning code here. It's all just at the table rolling dice.
If you subscribe now, get our promo code for the win.
For a low fee of $800 a week. Yeah.
You too can win the league. All right, folks, that's all we had for this week on games. But stay tuned, because Jacque is back, and he's got awards before us all. That works. I'm happy with that.
Greetings, masses of rabid fight fans! It's your old buddy Jacques back with his awards of fame, infamy, and shame to give out. We're at the halfway mark, and is this season becoming a ring-a-ding-dong dandy? We've got FNGs on top, we've got veterans in the middle, and, well, there's the basement dwellers haunting the dreams of those on top. Today, I've got a trio of awards to hand out, so buckle up. We're going to delve into the crazy. First of all, with all the smack talk happening on Discord between various parties, it is my great pleasure to award them a collective Talk Shit, Get Hit. You all know who you are. Enjoy the blame. Secondly, and this one is a very special award I'm so happy to give out. It is with great pleasure and gleefulness that I award Mass Destruction and their salamander, Yes, Lee, you are being awarded...
Do you wish to delete?
Deleted. Thank you for playing. I'm thinking a turn 2 Gauss rifle to your face qualifies. I guess those Gauss rifle seeking warhead in your beloved LRM ammo bins work both ways, huh? And third, history was made on Sunday between the Flying Tigers, led by the infamous Paul Crooks, in his game versus JP's Condos Janissaries. Master Crooks, the one that the Phoenix Hawk Memorial Award was created for, successfully executed a death from above attack on the archer of the Janissaries. And while the archer didn't suffer any ill effects from the attack, it's the fact that Paul's Phoenix Hawk launched, survived the drop, executed a successful attack, and while he didn't stick the landing, the P-Hawk was still alive at the end of the game. It is for this reason I have decided to create a very special award just for this historic event. Paul, it is obvious that you have left this plane of existence. You have ascended. You have left this mortal existence and transcended into true godhood. And it is for this S-tier, balls of pure adamantium, Chuck Norris-approved moment you have been awarded this singular honor. And with that, we wrap up this week's awards. Stay frosty, fight fans. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Jacques out.
Well, that will move us into Week 6 games, which is exciting. This season it seems to be flying past. Very exciting. Game number 1, we have the Abishais Avengers, whose standings are pretty easy. 5 wins, 0 losses, 0 ties. They're coming up against Condos Janissaries with 3 wins, 1 loss, and 1 tie. Not really showing off their true power, and I really do think this is going to be one of those very exciting games of a league veteran returning champion going up against the powerhouse rookie. I'm going to say, in this situation, I think Condos Janissaries are going to be able to do things on the field the Abishais Avengers are not ready for, and I think it's going to be a 4-3 victory for Condos Janissaries, as there's going to be very little of either lance at the end.
All right. So, win-loss tie. Abishais doing hot. Condos has had some odd games going for them, but I think Condos Janissaries, with their really defensive playstyle, are going to throw up a wall that Abishais is going to run into and just not necessarily be able to deal with. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I think it's going to be a 2-1 Condos victory, because I think the Abishais Avengers are just going to come in and be like, okay, step out into the open for me to kill you now. I don't know what's going on. He's always making me hit on 12s and 11s and 10s, and this is just really frustrating. Good luck to both players. Hopefully nobody gets frustrated with the game and everybody enjoys it, but I think it's going to be challenging, and I think it's going to be a Condos victory 2-1.
I disagree with both of you.
It's going to go on a custom map, and it's going to be a 4-4 tie.
That would be probably an amazing game, unless both people just sit on either side of the map. But no, I think it's going to be an Abishais Avengers win. I think it's going to be a 3-2. I think, Condos Janissaries, they just haven't been having much luck this season. And I think that's just going to continue with that. I think Abishais Avengers are going to get a couple of really good hits in, and that's, we're going to see a 3-2 victory for them. It's going to be a tough match, but I don't think we're going to see a 4-kill game. That's for sure.
Game number 2, we have the Parkers Pathfinders with 2 wins, 3 losses, 0 ties. They're up against our Flying Tigers. 0 wins, 5 losses, 0 ties. This on paper looks like it's going to be 2 people laying on the ground, slapping at each other, trying to see who's going to win or who's going to lose. To be honest, I honestly think Paul is going to come out and do his usual Paul play. It's almost like he flips a coin as to what direction he's going to go and rolls a random dice to see how far he's going to go there. It's impossible to predict what he's going to do. Chris, on the other hand, is going to do something similar in the sense that he's a very unpredictable player as well. It's hard to tell exactly what he's going to do with every mech other than his Night Star, which is going to go climb a hill, find some trees, plant his feet, and just throw Gauss rifles and ERPPCs to the other side of the battlefield. In the end, I think the Flying Tigers are actually going to get their first win, and it's going to be a 2-1 victory for the Flying Tigers.
All right, Flying Tigers are flying high after getting their first kill this season. I think they are going to come in. So, first kill, successful DFA, definitely coming off a high. Parkers Pathfinders and Flying Tigers are both pretty awesome guys. I think they're going to have an enjoyable game. This could be map dependent, but realistically, this is going to be who lands better shots. I think the Flying Tigers are going to surprise Parkers Pathfinders, and Parkers might not know how to deal with Paul's just, what do you mean you're doing a DFA? What do you mean you moved to there? I'm definitely going to go with a 2-1 Flying Tigers victory for this time. Not only is he going to double his kills, he's also going to pull in his first win.
I don't think so. As much as I want to say, yeah, Flying Tigers win, I think Parkers Pathfinders are going to take the win, and I think it's going to be I think Parkers Pathfinders might pull this off with a 4-1.
Oh, where are you getting that idea from?
Chris has been playing a hot game this season, I think he's going to pull it off.
And I mean, he does have a very quality lance with some good skill purchases this year.
That he does indeed, yep.
And Flying Tigers has banked a bunch of points at this point.
I'm not discounting Parker's Pathfinder's abilities. I'm just saying he's been playing people who have a game plan, that have something readable, you can see what they're about to do, where Paul is pure chaos. And I think their 2 forms of pure chaos play is going to end up being in Paul's favor because he's used to it because he's been doing it longer. But that's my opinion. Geoff, your point is just as valid as mine. Game number 3, we have the top of the league, the War Club, with 5 wins, 0 losses, 0 ties, up against another team with an equally impressive record, just not quite there, with the Petulant Periphery Pirates with 3 wins, 2 close losses, and 0 ties. And yes, his son did beat him 4-1, but I really do think that was close because of how easily it could have flipped the other side. I would love to say that the 4Ps come out and just start taking heads and taking names, but I don't think the War Club's going to slow down this week. They might slow down soon, but not this week. I'm going to give the War Club another 4-2 victory this time. I think Petulant Parries are going to throw some definitely solid fire, but the War Club's going to win.
So, Petulant Parries has that gunslinger that's been pulling a bunch of kills. The War Club has everything that's been pulling a bunch of kills because they're not letting anything walk off the table. But they've only lost 2 mechs so far this year. So I'm kind of torn. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game because I think just the firepower of Petulant Parries is going to cost the War Club this time. I'm thinking it's going to be... Now, I think you're right. It's going to be at least a 4-2. It might even be a 4-3. But I'm going to bet on the War Club as well.
So your final say is
4 kills for the War Club, at least 2 for Petulant Parries, 4-2.
I really want Petulant Parries to win.
Well, yeah, because how else are we ever going to catch those guys if?
Just to shake up the top, right? Just to shake up the top between the Abishais Avengers, Abishais Avengers, and the War Club. Yeah, we we need them both to lose a game somewhere, so why not here, right? You know, I'm gonna call it probably wrong, but I want to go with Petulant Parries, Periphery Pirates. But I do think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I'm gonna go 4-3 for the Pirates.
They're just gonna pull it out in the end.
I think so. Both of them have mechs with a lot of firepower, so I think it's going to come down to who makes those shots, and both these players have been making shots all season. So I guess we'll just see who makes the better ones.
Game number 4, we have the Blood of Bashir with 1 win, 4 losses, and 0 ties. They're up against our very own Riston's Rogues. 4 wins, 0 losses, and a tie. One of those unbeaten teams. Andrew, I wish I could call it for you, but I think Geoff is going to just stay creeping behind those top 2 teams. Maybe even catching one of them if they pull a loss this upcoming week. And I'm going to say it's going to be Riston's Rogues with a 3-2. I think he's going to do some damage to you, because if you're going to play defensively, he's got the range to reach out and hit you, Geoff. So it's going to be a close game, but I think it's going to be... Did I not say 3-2? I think it's going to be 3-2 for you.
Now, I think this is going to be a tougher game than that. Andrew, while learning, absolutely is a guy that says, you know what? This is my move. And if you point out, are you sure you want to do that? This is some of the downsides of that. He will look at you straight in the eye and say, this is my move because I'm going to learn from this one way or the other. And he holds to that. Totally admirable, totally amazing player that I can't say enough about. In the fact that he can acknowledge something that was potentially a mistake afterwards. And rather than say, hey man, that was really good sport, letting me have a do-over, he holds to his guns. Now, that sometimes doesn't necessarily help him, other than the fact that it's such a good sportsman. Riston's Rogues is going to have a better dice game and come out with a 3-1 victory.
I'm actually just really looking forward to this game. I want to play Andrew. Andrew's been like a bubbly ray of sunshine every single game, and I want to play that. I just want to have a fun game, right? So I don't know. In all honesty, I wouldn't care if I lost.
You get used to it after a while.
Looking at this game, I think this is one of those games that no matter, anybody could sit down at the table and be like, I lost to Andrew. This was pretty awesome because I had a good game.
Yeah, when I lost to Andrew, I didn't mind. It was a good game. It was fun.
And see, unlike Lee's loss to Andrew, mine wouldn't be a fixed game.
Wow.
Yeah, but Lee got the memo wrong. He was supposed to win that game.
Yep.
We gave him first game against a total noob. We're like, we're going to make sure you get at least one win. And then he's like, I lost the game 2-0, guys, just like I was supposed to.
Yep. It was, yeah, Andrew outplayed me, and then his dice were also better than me. Yeah. Oh, well, it was fun. And so what's your call on this, Geoff? Do you think you're actually going to win? I'm assuming you're going to call for yourself, but I haven't typed anything in yet.
Yeah, 3-2.
I think he's going to be a lot more aggressive and a lot more, well, not so much aggressive. I think he's going to be an equal to you when it comes to long range firepower. You're not going to be able to just sit back and fight and do exchange back and forth.
Hey, listen, like God. I said, I haven't been able to hit a headshot with a ghost rifle yet, so...
That longbow that Andrew has with gunnery on it, 2 LRM-20s in the ER large, and if you get close with the 5 medium pulse lasers, it was so bad to me. It touched me in such naughty ways. It was amazing.
Yeah, you can't stay back because it's got 2 LRM-20s in an ER large, and you can't charge it because 5 medium pulse lasers with people who can actually hit with pulse lasers, Geoff, is bad. Very, very bad.
Listen, my Cerberus can hit with its pulse lasers.
When it lives.
My Cerberus is yet to die.
Oh, sorry, it wasn't your Cerberus that died, it was JP's.
That's right.
Well, let's move on to game number 5 so we can keep the show going on a steady movement. We have Vandals Valkyries, 1 win, 4 losses, 0 ties, up against the OG Fallen Angels with 0 wins, 4 losses, and a tie. Well, I made a promise to Chris I wasn't going to call for him to win, and the Fallen Angels have been running for ties, or at least that's what he said. I don't think that's actually what he's trying to do. I'm going to call this a tie, a 2-2 tie, as both of them have a lot of respect for each other as friends, and I just don't think their luck's going to be all that much better than it has been for the rest of the season. I just think it's going to be 2 friends battling it out, and hopefully having a really good time while they do it. So I'm going to say 2-2 tie.
Lee, stop reading my part of the script, and it's supposed to be a 3-3 tie. I think these teams are just going to beat each other to snot. The time's going to run out, but it's going to be 3-3 at the final score.
Oh, I think there's going to be carnage on both sides. Yeah. Although I do think it's not going to be a tie, as much as you both want it to be a tie. I think we're going to see the start of Vandal Valkyries come back, and it's going to be a 3-2 win for him.
Well, moving on to the next game in the list as we work our way down for this week, it is game number 6. We have the Bside Brawlers. 3 wins, 2 losses, 0 ties, up against our second admin team, the second St. Ives Janissaries, with 4 wins, 1 loss, 0 ties. Another team just waiting for one of the top teams to falter so they can get up into that top 2. I have to call this for... Wow, this is actually a tough one.
Take a breath. Think about it.
I'm going to go
I know you're going to swallow your tongue on either answer.
I know. Well, no, actually, the big thing is that Atlas and your Marauder 2 are such powerhouses, and that Atlas brings something to the table that so many players are not ready for when it comes to that Inferno missiles. But I'm going to say Bside Brawlers have a lance that can actually make you pay. And I'm going to say Bside Brawlers simply because his Nightstar is now got a clan ERPPC, so he's throwing 3 15-pointers out each round with 0 heat worry. You could hit him with Infernos and not warm him up. His Archer is almost heat neutral no matter what you do to it. The other 2 mechs just has to stay back a bit. And with an LB20X, he can actually play the range game with your Atlas. I'm going to say Bside Brawlers with a... He's going to have to beat you up to do it. I'm going to say a 3-2 game.
Geoff, I'm going to let you call second on this one rather than me go into it. And I'll clean up.
That's not what's going to happen in your game, though. No, I think the Bside Brawlers are going to take this one. You know, as scary as that Atlas is, it still has to get there to hit with its stuff. So that Nightstar outclasses that Atlas any day of the week, in my opinion. And that Archer is going to give that Atlas a run for its money with its maneuverability and the fact that it's 4 streak 6s. You know, you got to connect with those SRMs to give it Infernos or Tandems or anything you decide with that right now. But I do think Bside Brawlers are going to take it. I think it's only going to be a 2-1, though.
Now, you touched on the magic word there. I haven't made good use of the tandem charged warheads. All I got to do is hit that center torso, like with 20 SRMs. The inside is toast, the outside is still pristine, and it's a dead mech.
That means you have to hit it in the center torso 20 times.
Not like he's not throwing out enough missiles, though, to actually potentially do it. It's just, and Fred, I'm not undercutting your lance at all. I just think Aaron actually has a lance that counters yours pretty well, because he doesn't have to get close to you with his Nightstar, because I believe it's got the clan large pulse. And his Axeman just doesn't go anywhere near it and goes after something else. And I don't think you can heat up his Archer enough for it to be a problem. And his Nightstar is not going to be close enough to you. You're never going to get close enough to it to actually hit it with the Infernos.
No, you're right. The Night Sky with the large pulse and 2 medium pulse is the only thing that's really susceptible to heat. So I might not even bring Infernos to the game. Bside be trying hard, and they've got a definitely good lance and solid tactician at the pilot. I'm going to call this, though. It is going to be a 4-3 Second St. Ives Janissaries victory.
Was there more to add to that? Because you just kind of stopped. It sounded like you were partway through a sentence.
Nope, I was done at that point. I was, I
Right.
could go and trash talk a little more, but I think that's best left to Discord memes.
Moving up into the number 7 spot, we have Thumpers Revenge going against the Doom Buds. Thumpers Revenge is running a 1 victory, 3 losses, 1 tie, and the Doom Buds have got 2 wins, 3 losses, 0 ties. This is a mother-son beatdown, and Thumpers Revenge just dealt with a C3 system with the Donru Tiger Slayers. The Doom Buds aren't bringing something they haven't seen other than the INARC system. I think when it comes to long-range firepower, they both throw equal weight. And I think experience is going to beat not new player, he's got 1 season under him. I think the mother is going to intimidate her son enough that she pulls out a win, and it's going to be a 3-1 win.
Being that they're both my family members, Geoff, why don't you speak up next?
No. You can't get out of it that easy, sir. You call that match.
Okay, so Thumpers Revenge, 4 LRM-20s going downrange with Artemis, and Doom Buds doesn't really have a good solution for that. Coming back, though, is an LRM-20 and a Gauss rifle off of the Highlander, pair 4 LRM-15s off of the Longbow, and the Crusader, if it gets up and it hits with a NARC beacon, those LRMs coming back at Thumpers is going to be at +1 to a 1 point benefit to hit, as well as the 2 points on the chart. It's tough. I really do not like calling ties, so I'm not going to. I think this is going to end up being grouping. Who gets better grouping? I think we're going to go with a 3-2 Thumpers Revenge victory.
I believe the lyrics are "Mama said knock you out," but in this case, Mama is going to knock you out. So, yeah, I think Thumpers is going to take this one. I believe I predict it's going to be a 3-2 probably. We're going to see a lot of missiles going both ways. But yeah, in the end, I think Thumpers Revenge is going to take it. Remember, you're never too old to beat your kid.
He's over 18. It's not child abuse. It's just a beating.
I didn't say what kind of beating. I just said she was going to beat him in the mechs.
Yep.
Every parent looks forward to the day that a child can beat them at a competition of some kind. I don't think that day's here yet.
We're going to go on to game number 8. And this game reminds me of a Billy Ray song. We have the Tin Man's Tin Cans, 0 wins, 4 losses, and a single tie, up against Mass Destruction, my personal team, who has 2 wins, 3 losses, 0 ties. Something, blow up and kill this tin can. See, it helps, Brett, when I understand the joke, but I'll work with it. I have been waiting to play Justin for at least, well, this is 6th game, so we'll say 6 games, but in honesty, for about 2. I've been too focused on trying to get my Lance built the way I needed to. I had hardly noticed that Tin Cans hadn't won a game yet. I don't think today's going to be their day. I've looked at his Lance, he's got a good one, he's got a really interesting mixture of skills, but I'm getting tired of ECMs shutting down my C3I system, so I went and purchased a mech with a Beagle Active probe, and I'm going to use its mobility to try to make sure that I have a linked system. And once I'm linked, you're in a lot of trouble. If we're on a flat map, you're in a lot of trouble. If your mechs don't jump, they're going to have a rough day. So, I'm going to say I'm going to win this one, and I'm going to be crushing it this time. I'm going to go 4-1.
Them's some pretty big words, when the Tin Man's a pretty big man there, Lee.
Oh, I said I'm going to beat his mechs. I'm not getting to get into a physical scuffle with that man. He would crush me.
No, he's too gentle for that.
Until he gets mad. Never, ever think that the quiet guy is the not dangerous one.
But
Cute and cuddly does not mean not dangerous. Okay, so back to actually scoring the game. I'm gonna vote for Lee in this one. There's gonna be a Masty win. I think it is going to be played out, run down, and 4-2 mass destruction victory. You're gonna finally get a game where you get like 4 kills in, but it's gonna cost you. He's gonna take 2 of your mechs and just throw them into the ground and stomp on them.
You know, Justin is the gentle giant, right? So he's similar to Andrew in that fashion, and I think it's going to be just like your game against Andrew. You're going to lose.
Ooh. Wow. All right.
Yep.
So
I went there. I said it.
Yeah. I'm going to give TT their first win. What's it going to be?
I think it's going to be a 2-1.
All right.
I think you're going to give it up to TT.
The Tin Mans did paint all of Lee's mechs, and he's coming in with an unpainted mini next game, so there's that bad juju going on.
Well, he's just angered the man that painted his lance by adding a new mech that has no paint on it, right?
He's gonna make you pay for that in advance in blood.
Could be. All right, moving on to game number 9. We have the Red SunIrregulars with 3 wins, 2 losses, 0 ties, versus the Donru Tiger Slayers with the same record, 3 wins, 2 losses, 0 ties. This is a hard one to call, very hard, because the Red SunIrregulars have been on a tear. 3 games in a row they've won. They started off slow and then just have gone from this point on moving forward. But I think the Donru Tiger Slayers have finally got their feet under them and really do have their C3 system in order. And that Orion with an ERPPC and 2 MRM40s, like, I didn't even think you could fit that on a 75-ton chassis. Oh, Red SunIrregulars have their work cut out for it in front of them. I don't think they've met a C3 system this year, so I don't know if Gary even knows how to deal with them. I'm going to say the Donru Tiger Slayers are going to take it, and it's going to be a 3-2 victory.
Confirming what Lee said, this will be the first C3 network that Red Suns face. However, they face the Doom Buds the following week, so they'll have lots of practice when they come to that game. Now, it's something about, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. Red Suns are definitely a scrappy dog, but they're not the biggest dog in the yard. Donru Tiger Slayers, 2nd gen, coming out, something to prove. I think he's going to try and be like, one of the Crooks boys has got to keep getting some wins. I'm going to vote on the Tiger Slayers on this one. I think it is going to be a 4-3 victory, though, because the racks are going to jam, and they're just not going to be able to finish off that final mech.
2 MRM40s. All the missiles at once. That's just, that's disgusting on that Orion. But like you said, both of these players have been on a good tear when it comes to getting their wins. So I think it's going to be a slug match. Here's the thing, though. Is it going to be a slug match with both of them surviving quite a bit and low kill count? Or is it going to be a slug match in the fact that there's a lot of death? I think it's going to be option 1. And I think we're going to see a Donru win with a 2-1.
Yeah, and that's totally a possibility, too. The only thing, I just think that if the Red SunIrregulars aren't aggressive, the C3 is going to take advantage of that.
Yeah, but that's been Gary's playstyle for 2 seasons now. He go hard.
This is very true.
Yep, and that's why I think it's going to be a high kill count. We'll just have to see how it goes in the long run. Moving into the last couple of games of this week, we've got game number 10. The Lords of the Underworld with 1 win, 4 losses, 0 ties, and they're up against the Blitzkrieg Jezebels. 3 wins, 2 losses, 0 ties. And you know what? I'm not picking these based off the fact that Heather is my wife. I've been trying to pick these off based on the chance that her lance is really well built. He understands how to play the game. And while it may have taken her a couple of games to get comfortable, I think she's comfortable now. And I don't think the Lords of the Underworld are really comfortable yet. I'm going to say Blitzkrieg Jezebels win this, and I don't think it's going to be a high kill count. I think it's going to be a 2-1, 2-0 win for Heather.
Okay, so there's how I think this game is going to go, and there's how I want this game to go. Because Jay's new to the league, Jay's been getting hammered on, but he comes out swinging with that axe on the Berserker. Who brings a Berserker? Who brings a hatchet to a gunfight? I want to see the Lords of the Underworld take this 1-0. I think it's going to go a Blitzkrieg Jezebel 2-1 victory, though. Definitely go on Heather. She has the skill. She has the experience. She's been with League. Now, I know Jay's played outside the League, so he's not a new guy. He's just new to us. You know, like a used car. New to you. I think it's going to be fun. I think they're going to have fun. And can I say fun any more times this podcast? Yeah. Blitzkrieg Jezebels 2-1 victory. Everybody walking away with smiles. And hey, who's bringing snacks this week?
Listen, just because the Jezebels tried to bribe us all last week, successfully that is, I'm sure we shouldn't plan on that every week.
I don't plan on the Jezebels, so it's somebody else's time.
However, I do think that the Blitzkrieg Jezebels are going to pull out a win. I think the Lords of the Underworld, though, are going to frustrate them, and we're only going to see a 1-0 win.
And we are now to the last game of Week 6. Game number 11. We have the Kells Keshiks, 4 wins, 1 loss, 0 ties, up against the Odin's Storm Riders, 2 wins, 2 losses, 1 tie. I gotta say, Kells Keshik is on the cusp of being a team that everybody is going to be talking about from week to week. We hear about the War Club, we hear about Abishais Avengers, we hear about Riston's Rogues, we talk about the 4Ps, and Kells Keshik just kind of gets talked about, but not center stage. And I think this is going to be a game where we're going to see center stage action, and Kells Keshik is going to win again, and they're going to do it pretty convincingly with a 4-2 win.
I don't know. Okay, I do know, but I'm trying to buy time. Kells Keshik has been hammering people that he comes up against. That King Crab is scary. Ultra 20, LB 20. His rest of his lance isn't exactly schlubs either. So it's just a matter of what the score is going to be. I'm going to go probably with a 3-1 Kells Keshik. And that might go higher or it might go lower depending on the map. And I can't state enough. Where are my custom maps at, everybody? Start playing those customs. Throw in the random factor and see how it works out for you.
No comment. The dice are random enough as it is. You know, Kells Keshik has been killing it with his mechs. His mech choices were really good. He's put a lot of thought into them. And they've been working well for him also. On the other hand, Odin Storm Riders has also been doing really well with his mechs. You know, there was a couple ones that were like, really? This, you know, that Hatamoto we were all kind of questioning about, and it's turned out really well for him in some cases. You know, he's got a decent mech lance also. I do think, though, the Keshik has a harder hitting lance, and I believe that's going to pay off with a Keshik win. However, I do think it's going to be a 3-2 for the Keshik, not a straight blowout.
Yeah, and going back to what you were saying there, Geoff, I really think Kells Keshik is an example of what I think Chris was aiming for with his mech with the double autocannon 20s, the Ultra and the LB20X. It's just, this is an example of how when your dice are working for you, what that mech can do. So, yeah, I think Kells Keshik is doing what Vandals Valkyries was planning on doing. Only Vandals Valkyries has even more guns that do big damage. And this really is a sign of dice and tactics.
Just goes to show you that a dice game, right? It all comes down to those dice rolls.
So we now move into the end of this week's show. And I gotta say, I have been over the moon with the way the game has been being played this season. Everybody's having fun. Nobody's angry. Nobody's upset. There generally some frustrations happen with some of the dice, but everybody's enjoying themselves. Keep this up. We're going to see a equally successful season as last season. We are moving into the last half, so we're going to start seeing some really interesting moves in the standings. And I think some teams that have been struggling, we're going to see some turnaround. And the upper teams, you guys all got to lose sometime. You'll be down here with me in no time.
Nope.
Keep dreaming on that, Lee. Keep dreaming. No, it's been great. You know, we've got another Uncivil Discourse in the books. We are now on Spotify for those folks that want to listen that way instead of just watching the YouTubes. So check us out there. We're expanding that. Things have been going great. The season's been going great. It's been going really fast, it seems, too. So, you know, stay tuned for the next time.
All right, with that, this week we will be rolling out a new match reporting sheet. It should make the admin's life a lot easier, as long as our players fill it out and submit it to Lee or myself. Thank you in advance for your cooperation, and a special thanks to Laura for creating it for us. With that, have a wonderful night, everybody. Thanks, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks to a very special member of the community who requested to remain nameless, we have some very exciting news. This community member has painted and donated a lance for us to give away as a random prize to our subscribers. Let me tell you, these mechs are even more beautiful in hand than these pictures are giving them justice. Painted in Free Worlds League purple, this League-compliant lance includes a Phoenix Hawk, a Rifleman, Warhammer, and an Atlas. Any new or current subscriber to the channel can comment on any of our videos with this spot in it to be entered into the draw. Now, because we are a growing little community with aspirations of grandeur, we will post the mechs to the winner in Western Canada at no cost. If someone in Eastern Canada or out of country wins the draw, we will be happy to cover the first $20 Canadian for shipping costs, but ask the winner to cover the balance. Of course, we'll get a price quote beforehand and we can discuss it with the winner if they want to get the lance shipped to them or pass it along to another subscriber instead. Please keep this in mind when entering the draw. To enter, all you need to do is like our video and comment below. We will do the draw when we hit 150 subscribers. Each video you like and comment on will get you an entry into the draw. Once again, thank you all very much, and we look forward to the next major milestone with you guys.
Coming at you like a shot to the cockpit. Good night, and lights out.